what take we're going to have for 99. Because guess what? It's that time. It's going down right now. We give you a very expensive take for a cheap price in all the sports. It could be something we talked about already that we haven't got to dive into, or we just want to hit it from another angle. Okay, hit it and quit it, right? Or it could be something that we haven't talked about yet, okay, that we want to bring forth to the table. And Zay, I would love to do the honors here with my take for 99. I want to go back to a topic that we haven't talked. Excuse me. I want to go back to a topic that we have talked about earlier on the show to start off the show, which is talking about the Bengals, right? And look, when it comes to sports in general, we love a good Hollywood story, right? We love it. One of the big topics of conversations last year in the NBA, including the offseason, was the Villanova connection in New York. 4 players playing on the same team in college, potentially having that opportunity to do so in the NBA. That dominated headlines, okay, even though it didn't pan out that way with the 4th guy. He was traded, Dante DiVincenzo, right? But what I do think is that the Bengals should take a page out of the Knicks book and fire Zac Taylor, replacing him with Joe Brady to create the LSU connection, okay? And look, the Bengals organization is cheap. Let's call it what it is. They're the Julius of the NFL from Everybody Hates Chris, right? They definitely undervalued the running back position in a year of the running back renaissance, which is why we see Joe Mixon on the Texans having the year he's having, who was on the team before. Saquon Barkley's having the year he's having. Derrick Henry's having the year he's having. And they got to walk, and now they rocking with Chase Brown, who I like, but is not a number 1. Okay, they allowed their defense to completely vaporize without bolstering that side of the ball. Okay, they didn't want to pay Jamar Chase his money. Okay, despite conversations this whole entire year, they're going to allow T. Higgins to walk in free agency for nothing. Okay, so let's be real. Ownership is not going to bring out the checkbook for Ben Johnson, who is arguably the best candidate on the market. Okay, he's not going to bring out the checkbook. So we have to be realistic. And hiring Joe Brady, to me, is more realistic and potentially should be probable, considering that he, Jamar Chase, and Joe Burrow orchestrated the greatest college offense of all time in LSU when they went undefeated. Okay? Look what Joe Brady's doing in Buffalo right now. He has reinvented himself. Clearly, Josh Allen's having his best year from a touchdown to interception ratio perspective, right? He's showing that he's one of the great minds in the league. And guess what? Take a page out of the Knicks book, form that LSU connection, fire my guy Zac Taylor, hire my guy Joe Brady, and keep your window open. That's my take for 99.
Yeah, I think firing Zac Taylor is bold. And I think the reason why it's bold is because he's not given much on defense to make stops, to create stops, right? He's doing with the best he can with the talent that he has. And that's the front office. That's not Zac Taylor making those decisions. I think the front office has handicapped him of what he's capable of doing on defense. We understand the kicking situation is terrible. It's not like Joe Burrows and our offense can't flow. It's not working well. But you said it earlier in the show. Joe Burrows is actually playing his career, having a career high year. Jamar Chase having another career high year. T. Higgins is playing great. So the fact that these guys are playing fantastical, and also Henderson leading the league in sacks, and they're 4-7 is more indicative of the lack of talent on this football team opposed to the lack of coaching that this team has. And I don't understand that firing a head coach could create a spark, but it could also deplete players. It could also diminish Joe Burrow's performance, especially if the scheme changes dramatically and it looks a lot entirely different than what we're accustomed to seeing that Bengals
that's
team.
That's why you paid Joe Burrow the money. Clearly, Jamar Chase knows who Joe Brady is. That was his coach in college. And look, Jamar Chase threw his coach under the rock with that comment that he made after the Chargers game. So clearly he is losing the locker room, at least according to Jamar Chase and his words. So even though he's not the main issue, arguably, they're still losing. It's a championship team with championship aspirations. I think you make the move, you hire somebody better, and you keep that window open, and you focus on building the defensive side of the ball.
I mean, Jamar Chase also called out Joe Burrows early in the season. So, I mean, Jamar Chase is a dude who's just outspoken at this point. He just likes to speak because he'll throw anybody on the bus if it means his numbers are down. He was the one that said, just throw me the ball, I'm always open. Like this is a receiver who's very self-entitled. He has had tremendous success on his football team in terms of impacting wins, but he's all about making his money and getting paid. And that's all he's worried about. Once he get his money, he gotta stop squealing and stay quiet. He's not focused on the wins. He's focused on the damn money, which is an issue for me. But I think it's gonna be tough, and I think replacing with Joe Brady, that'll be really, really tough. And I don't know. I gotta see how that works, but I don't know. It could work though. But firing Zac Taylor is tough for me.
All right, the mic is yours.
So my take for 99 cents is that this year has created the evolution of the running back value. We are about to witness potentially 20 separate running backs, potentially 20 different running backs with 1,000+ yards. We have never seen that in the history of this damn league. 20 running backs with 1,000+ yards each is going to be crazy to see. It's only going to elevate the value of the team, right? Everyone talked about positional value. Oh, well, we could get a running back in this round, that round, X, Y, and Z. There's 20 different running backs at this time that's going to get 1,000 yards. There's not going to be that many running backs that come replace them. It's not going to be that many running backs to replace in the league in terms of getting their position, their starting roles. I think the running backs have done a phenomenal job in keeping up the pace of the offensive rate when the quarterbacks this year has not been playing too well. There's only a handful of quarterbacks that are doing well. Majority of them are actually playing really bad, or they're playing down to their potential. And the running backs are the ones saving them. From the Hubbards to the Dobbins to the Barkleys to the Mixons, you name them. These running backs are playing at an astonishing rate, and you have to give them kudos. They're gonna get paid, especially when these quarterbacks are still finding difficulties getting the ball out to the receivers in these different packages. They're finding difficulties attacking the two highs that guys keep complaining on. Football analysts keep complaining about that. Defenses are playing two highs. The quarterbacks are unable to get the explosive plays. The running backs are the ones making these explosive plays. I've seen DeAndre Swift with multiple 50-yard runs. I've seen Dobbins with huge runs. I've seen Mixon with multiple. It's going down the list of all these different running backs on different teams and different conferences, just establishing great games. And I think they're showing out on why they deserve to get paid. So my take for 99 cents is the running backs have now shown why they deserve to get paid more.
Yeah, I think it's an excellent take. I think when you look at those guys that you're talking about, those 10 guys, looks about right. I mean, you look at some of these guys, I ain't gonna name everybody, but Derrick Henry, we know what he's doing with the Ravens right now, giving them arguably the best tandem in the league to me, behind Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. And you can flip that arguably how you want. Saquon Barkley, we know. Look, if the Eagles didn't have Saquon Barkley, they would not be this good. He's their home run hitter. He's their Make-A-Wish Foundation type of play. Okay, literally. All right. Number 3, you got Josh Jacobs. Clearly Jordan Love is having a season high, career high in interceptions right now. Clearly Jacobs is valuable to what the Packers got going on. Chuba Hubbard, you know who your quarterback is, right? Jahmyr Gibbs, we know that the Lions, and mind you, Gibbs is not even the every down back, and he's 5th.
Yep.
So that's telling you what you need to know. Alvin Kamara, he's always been consistent. B. John Robinson, he's talented. Joe Mixon. I mean, Joe Mixon would have had way more. He's number 8. He would have had way more had he didn't miss 4 straight weeks at a stretch due to injury. He would have been way up there. He'd have been top 3. Kyron Williams, he's a bell cow. J.K. Dobbins, clearly the Chargers are more run-oriented, so he's clearly valuable. So a lot of these guys are valuable. Najee Harris, number 11, the Steelers, run-oriented, right? Kyle Shanahan, Jordan Mason, right? We know his schemes, his running scheme. So clearly the running back position is definitely showing its value. We are seeing more quarterbacks struggling. We are seeing more Vic Fangio defensive clones with the too high looks, with the zone, forcing you to not go for the big shot play, but to rather run the ball and open up things that way. And that's good for the running backs, because the running backs had it hard. I thought the position was going to be extinct in the future, but we are currently undergoing a running back renaissance, and I'm here for it. And hopefully they get their money, which I do believe they will, because they're showing their value this season. So yeah, that's my take.
I think it'll be interesting what happens moving forward because, like I said, if the defenses are playing too high and just stopping the explosive plays, and the run game is going to be the key again, right? It's going right back to just establishing more runs, and then going back to those what Cam Newton will call the game managers of the world. Even if you're a lead at it, you'll be the game managers, and the run game is going to be key if they keep playing those two highs.
And the narrative before was that you don't need a 1,000-yard back to win a championship. That was a narrative. But with all these backs that's on the verge of having 1,000 yards, I mean, I would assume that a team that wins a championship this year will have a 1,000-yard back. So we'll see what happens with that.